up, y'all? It's Jay Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's boxing talk. This Saturday, January the 16th, we have the first fight card of 2016, and it takes place on Showtime Championship Boxing at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We bring you the first heavyweight title matchup in 115 years since Jim Jeffries went into the ring in Brooklyn, New York, and it takes place at the Barclays Center this weekend when American heavyweight, the Olympic bronze medalist and current WBC heavyweight champion, undefeated Deontay Wilder defends his title against a very tough Polish heavyweight contender by the name of Artur Szpilka. Now, this fight on paper against Szpilka looks to be the toughest challenge and the best opponent that Wilder has faced thus far. His other opponent that was a big fight was against Birmingham Stavern when he won the heavyweight title. That was his biggest test, and he passed it with flying colors, controlling that fight with his range, his jab, his height, and his reach, and he dominated Stavern in that fight and looked very impressive. After that fight, he made 2 title defenses against guys that were able to give him a bit of a trouble. He was rocked against that guy Molina, and he was able to come back in that fight and take control and dominate and knock out his opponent in the late rounds. But he had that trouble in that one round where he was definitely rocked. We saw that little vulnerability in Deontay Wilder. In his last fight, it was the toughest fight of his career, the very toughest fight of his career. I mean, this guy gave him a hell of a fight where his eye was closed shut, and Deontay Wilder had to dig deep and definitely show what he is made of as a champion. He's 35-0 with 34 knockouts, and he is definitely one of the best heavyweights in the world today. But he is still looking for that significant fight. But there's going to be an interesting man at ringside to watch that fight, and that is Alexander Povetkin, the mandatory #1 contender and one of the top heavyweights in the world, that's going to be there in Brooklyn, New York to negotiate a fight after this Wilder fight is concluded. They're looking to fight perhaps in the spring of 2016, and that's the fight that the fight fans have been waiting for. This is the ultimate test for Deontay Wilder. I know Mark Breland has done an excellent job with Wilder, using that height, getting him to use that jab very well, and also landing that big right hand. And I believe that that fight right there between Povetkin and Wilder is going to be the fight to show where Wilder lies in the heavyweight division as one of the true best heavyweights in the world. But right now, he stands to be the top American fighter that we have today. And this fight against Szpilka, I look to it to be perhaps a bit of a history lesson. We had a fight years ago when we had Riddick Bowe, the heavyweight champion, take on Andrew Golota. And he had a lot of trouble with Andrew Golota. I know Golota was fouling a lot in that fight, but Golota proved to be a very stern test for Riddick Bowe and give Riddick Bowe a hell of a lot of trouble. So if Szpilka can muster up that Polish spirit and definitely bring in a very good, tough fight for Wilder, we might be entertained for a very great night of boxing. So I can't wait to see that fight and see how that fight plays out. But I have Deontay Wilder winning in late round stoppage. There's going to be another heavyweight title bout that's going to take place on the undercard that night, and it's an American heavyweight that's also aligned with Al Heyman, and his name is Charles Martin. Charles Martin is an undefeated American heavyweight with a record of 22-0 with 20 knockouts, and this guy is taking the biggest step up of his career and the toughest challenge when he faces the #1 mandatory contender of the IBF vacant title that was vacant when Tyson Fury was stripped of the title because he elected to face Vladimir Glazkov in a rematch. They stripped the title away from Tyson Fury, and now that vacant title will be fought with Glazkov, the Ukrainian fighter that's undefeated and a very good, outstanding amateur fighter and a tough heavyweight in the division right now. And this is definitely going to be a test for Martin. Martin is a very hard-hitting puncher, but we're going to see how good he is. You know, he's getting the opportunity because of Al Heyman, and he's worked his way up gradually, but he hasn't fought anybody significant. This is the big fight for him. This is to see where he lies in the heavyweight division, if he's going to be a player in the mixture of the heavyweight division, because the heavyweights are heating up right now, and it's very good division at this time. We haven't seen a great heavyweight division or a solid heavyweight division since the 1990s, when these three gentlemen behind me were at the top of their game. We had Mike Tyson in the early 90s that was ferocious. We had Lennox Lewis that was a three-time heavyweight champion. And then you had the great Evander Holyfield. I mean, these guys gave us great, exciting fights throughout the 1990s. But ever since the Glitchkos took over, it hasn't been that exciting. So now that Tyson Fury has made his claim in the heavyweight division as the new heavyweight champion, Deontay Wilder as the undefeated heavyweight powerhouse champion, and also the mixture of these young heavyweights coming on, it's going to be a great, exciting time for heavyweight boxing. David the Haymaker Haye is making his return to boxing with a brand new trainer, and hopefully he can stay injured free and put dedication into his boxing craft, because I believe that David Haye will be a major player in the heavyweight division. He's taking on a guy by the name of Mori, which is a top 10 in the WBA ratings, and this guy is 30-1 with 26 knockouts. He has a decent record. He's fought some decent fighters. He's not a very big known heavyweight, but he's a guy that has heavyweight punching power, and it's a risk taker for David Haye. David Haye hasn't fought in over 3.5 years. It's been a long layoff for him. He's been injured quite a few times, and he's been living the Hollywood life, living lavishly. A lot of people saying that he's coming back to boxing because he needs the money. I hope that's not the case. I hope he still has the passion and the desire. He's 35 years old, but he has an outstanding record of 26-2 with 24 knockouts. This guy is a definite hard-hitting puncher in the heavyweight division with great hand speed. I believe that we haven't seen somebody with this athleticism and this hand speed and this punching power since the great Mike Tyson. But he is no Mike Tyson. But I believe he is definitely a serious player and dedicates himself to his craft and becomes a very, very tough opponent for any of the top guys in the heavyweight division. And that includes Wilder, that includes Joshua, and a lot of other heavyweights that are out there, like Luis Ortiz and those guys out there. But I look for David Haye having a spectacular performance this Saturday night and stop his man to become a player in the heavyweight division. So I'd like to thank everybody who has been watching my videos and supporting me on YouTube. And also, please subscribe to this YouTube channel right here, Jay Calderon Boxing Talk. Also, follow me on Instagram, and also join that Facebook boxing group page, Jay Calderon Boxing Talk. I'm Jay Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment. Please subscribe.